Hi, my name is Linda Gunnell. I am the CEO and founder of Linda's Perfection Creations. Linda's Perfection Creations is an event planning and wedding decor company. We cater to small and large events in and around the Philadelphia area. I am a master certified wedding planner and a certified florist. I have over 10 plus years in the wedding industry. Today, I just want to tell you about some tricks and tools that you can utilize to plan your wedding. And today I'm going to talk about budgeting. Budgeting is one of the most important things for your wedding. If you don't properly allocate your funds, you might end up spending too much or too little. Right now, the national average for a wedding in the States nationwide is about $25 to $35,000. Before you jump into budgeting, the first thing I think is most important that you should do is sit down with whoever is paying for your wedding. Whether it's your parents, is your spouse's parents, what is a family member, what is the couple themselves. When you sit there and talk to people, you can understand how much money you should spend, what you shouldn't spend. That way you know where to start from. Because if you don't set a budget, you might just keep pouring and pulling and pulling. And you might get overwhelmed and stressed out. So the first thing is talk to whoever it is that is paying for the wedding. Have a meeting to discuss what you can and cannot do. So let's just jump right into it. First thing, 48 to 50% of your funds, your wedding budget should be spent on your reception. That's this place you're going to spend the most time. That includes your drinks, your food, and the venue. You want to make sure you have proper access to your venue. You want to make sure that the food that you serve your guests is grand. For some people, food may not be important. For some people, maybe the drinks may be important. But if you set 50% aside, you have more than enough to pay for your wedding venue. The second thing is your ceremony. Your ceremony cost should be about 8 to 10%. That cost, I think, can go down. It all based on your choice. You might use less decorations. Sometimes your church may allow you to get married for free if you're a member of the church. If you choose to do an outdoor wedding, wedding in your venue space, wedding maybe in the garden, those are things sometimes the cost can be cheaper. So the cost can go either way. And sometimes you might limit that cost down to maybe 1% if you choose to get married to the courts. You might spend little or nothing to get married. The next thing is your attire. What you're gonna wear should be about 8 to 10%. Bride and groom outfit. Your wedding dress, the groom's outfit, about 10 to 8% of that should be from your budget should be spent on that. Next thing is flowers, another crucial thing. A lot of people think that maybe silk flowers is less is expensive than flowers and fresh flower, and that's not actually the case. Silk flowers are expensive. Sometimes with fresh flowers, you might find a flower that in season, and sometimes you might talk to your florist. They might be able to help you with flowers and things with different vendors that can be grand for your wedding. So about 8 to 10% of your budget should be spent on your flowers. I have seen multiple times where bride spend so much money on everything, and then when it comes to the decor aspect, they want to cut it down. You want this luxury wedding, or you want this ideal look, but you spend a lot of money and then you leave out your flowers. And then sometimes you can't get the look that you want, or you're having to kind of pull funds from other places because you spend a little bit too much. And then the next thing, about 8 to 10% should be on your entertainment. And that's your DJ, if you're doing live band, if you're doing a musician, 8 to 10% of that. And that's another important thing. You want your guests to have fun. You don't want to come hire a terrible DJ or a family friend or somebody that you know. And in the end, the music is still, the guests can have fun. You got this beautiful venue. Everything looks great. But your entertainment is just boring, or the DJ is just horrible. He missing the songs, can't play the right thing. So you want to make sure you hire the right vendor. So make sure your entertainment is something that you pay attention to. The next thing is your videographer and your photographer. About 10 to 12% of that. And make sure you hire professional. I understand sometimes we have family friends, or sometimes people refer somebody to us. Make sure that person is actually a wedding vendor. and make sure they've been doing this for a while. You don't want your pictures and your videos something that you're going to hold on to a lifetime. That's a one moment that's when you miss that opportunity is gone. You cannot get it back. If your picture is horrible, you can go back and redo your wedding. So make sure you're hiring people who will actually execute that job. So make sure you set that money aside for that budget. The next thing is stationery, 2 to 3%. And you can cut that down a little bit because right now people tend to do virtual. You can do a virtual invite for the save the date. You can do a virtual invitation. I kind of do not recommend virtual invitation, honestly, because I feel like it take away the save the date. I think yes, you can. There's a wiggle room in there, but for invitation, you want guests to be excited to come to your wedding. It's always a great feeling when somebody get a mail and it's something good news and not just bills or something, something exciting. So I would say save that money for your stationery to make sure you send them, have that beautiful invitation that you want. And the next thing, your ring, about 2 to 3%. And you can pick the rings that the band, and this is for your wedding band, not the engagement ring. Ladies, don't get upset. Pick the band that you want, shop around, see what option is best for you. But just make sure you put that 2 to 3% of your budget on the side. The next thing is transportation and parking. That includes your limousine if you are, or maybe you're doing a luxury car, old fashioned car. And then for parking, you can also cut down that cost. Sometime the venue that you pick might have parking. Make sure you look for a venue that have access to parking versus street parking. Another thing is that if you are doing a hotel wedding, sometimes some wedding may charge your guests valet parking fee or regular fee. That's something the guests might end up paying for themselves. Sometimes some couple choose to pay for them, but you can also limit it at cost. And then the next thing is gift. You have to give gifts, and a lot of people miss out on these. And that include your favors, unfavorite needs for people, thank you notes, and things to tell people thank you for being a part of your wedding. So make sure you spend about 2 to 3%, and you can search around for cute ideas and cute favorite ideas to give your guests that you can utilize. And then another thing is 8% for miscellaneous. That including your hair, your makeup, the groom hair, your stylish little things of that sort that you make sure to have. So that 8% can be for all the miscellaneous things that we didn't talk about, and those include those things and many more. And last but not the least is surprise, 5%. I know people say surprise. Yes, things might go wrong. Maybe you might think you want to use a vendor who told you $500. And that price might go up by the time you book the services, it went up, or maybe something changed, a package that you wanted and you want to upgrade it to. And you really want that, or some new look or creative things that you want to incorporate into your wedding, and it might cost something. So if you have that extra budget on the side, just there, just in case of emergency, or maybe if you choose to say, you know what, I'm going to plan my wedding myself, and then down the line you decide maybe I need a wedding planner or a month of coordination to help me, that comes in line to help you. So always put that aside. And my last thing I will leave for you guys is this: make sure every vendor that you are picking, meet with them at least meet with 4 different vendors. That's my rule. Don't just pick the first person you talk to. Talk to multiple vendors, at least minimum 4. See what they offer. Look, research. Make Because this is your wedding. You don't want to hire somebody in the end that does such a horrible job and you are upset on your wedding. But that's all for now. Thank you. I do offer a 2-hour class where I teach my bride detail from start to finish, how to properly plan your DIY wedding. You can also schedule a free 30-minute consultation to talk to me about anything that you want to in regards to your wedding. Thank you, and you have a wonderful day. Bye.